What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I know on my last video I said that if that video gets more than 50 likes I'll do a part 2 to that video, but since that video got nowhere near 50 likes I have taken that as an indication that you guys probably don't want to see a part 2, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, it should be okay. I'm not too worried about it, really. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried at all.
You know, we fall forward on this channel, so today I've decided to do something a little bit different, and I think it's important to mention that today I'll be joined by a guest. This man needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give him one anyways. He is the originator, you know, the man that got me interested in trading and investing in the first place. He is the one and only Dan the Money Man. Yes, sir. What's up, man? You know, yeah. Welcome to my channel, bro.
Thank you.
Be nice to you guys. Dan actually came a long way, you know.
Yeah, all the way from Canberra.
All the way from Canberra.
The nation's capital.
The nation's capital, the ATC.
ACT.
Just to join me today. So, you know, it feels amazing, you know. Today we're going to be talking about very important stuff.
Okay.
We are going to be talking about the important attributes. We're going to be talking about just like what the
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here. I'm humbled to be in your presence.
Yeah.
All of you, and on your channel, sir.
Yeah, I didn't even ask you, man. How you feel, man?
I feel great.
How have you been? How's the flight?
The flight was there's a lot of COVID to be worried about in the flight, but it was safe.
Well, I mean, you're vaccinated.
I'm vaccinated, thank God. Yeah.
Pfizer, you know?
The Pfizer double dose.
Yeah, not the Johnson & Johnson.
No Johnson. No.
Thank God. Inshallah.
I almost took one that Donald Trump took, but I was like, nah, that's probably too much.
Yeah, man, that one is top secret, man. That one.
That's me, all.
So in this video, we'll be talking about some strong attributes that we believe makes a good trader or an active participant of the markets. So for the sake of this video, we have decided to limit it to 3 attributes each. Just because if we do more than 3, we might go on for a really long time. So just before we start, I think it's important to clarify that trading is a little bit different to investing, in the sense that the attributes needed in order to be a good trader are a bit different to investing, as investing is quite passive, whereas trading is very active. So you might be a good investor, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily a good trader, because in order to be a good trader, there are some strong attributes that investors might not possess, and trading is a bit more demanding than investing in that sense. Isn't that right, Daniel?
It's true to some degree, because obviously as a trader, you're actively involved in the markets all the time. But as an investor, you have to do a lot of fundamental analysis before you can put on a trade. Yeah. So depending on what markets you're trading depending on what markets you're investing in or what instruments you invest in as an investor, you may have to do a lot of fundamental analysis, and sometimes that can take a lot of time, a lot of study, a lot of resources. So even though it looks like you're only placing the trade once, but before you can be sure that you're making the right trade, the right investment, it really takes time before you can be absolutely sure. So they're different. Yeah. So I think the key point here is that they're different, and the attributes are different for sure. Yeah. On one hand, investing is quite passive in nature. Yeah. Whereas trading is very active. As a trader, you actively, glued to that screen, watching the movement. Yes. Whereas as an investor, you do analysis, and then if you're happy with the fundamental analysis, and you think that there's value in what you're about to buy, you buy it, and then you basically forget about it until things develop as you expect.
Yeah, precisely. So Dan the Money Man, I think it's fair that as a guest you should be able to start first. Yes. What do you think are the 3 main characteristics that you can credit for your success in the markets?
Well, so first of all, I've traded before for a long time. I think now I've focused more on basically my investing activities. And in my time as a trader, I learned that as a trader, I think the most important attribute that I would say you need to have as a trader is discipline. So as a trader, you've got to be disciplined in every single thing that you do, right? Starting from the markets that you're trading, what instrument are you trading in? Alright, so a lot of traders don't actually have a particular market that they trade in. I think you have to understand that different markets move differently. So I remember in my time, the way the oil markets move is very different from the way the S&P 500 moves. And so as a trader, you need to identify markets that you're gonna trade, and then you got to stick to those markets, understand them very well, know what makes a move, right? And then so that's that part of discipline in choosing what you're going to trade. The second thing in that discipline category still is before you place a trade, you need to know exactly the reason for placing that trade, right? So let's say, obviously as a trader, you're more technical focused, right? Let's say you're trading the market and you think that the price range is, let's say it's ranging, all right? It's not a trending market. Let's say it's a ranging market, right? If you think that's what market it is, you got to be disciplined enough to stick to that, right? The moment that the price goes, outside that range, you need to act. You need to understand things have shifted, and you got to act accordingly, right? So that's number one, discipline. And actually, on that point as well, on that discipline point, still, you got to understand that you need to identify your loss, like your maximum loss that you're gonna have on a particular trade. So a lot of traders get emotional about their trades, and so they sort of hold on to these losses, thinking the market's gonna reverse because the markets know that they're in the market. The markets don't care about emotions, right? So the markets will continue doing what it's doing. So as a trader, you need to be disciplined enough to get out when you need to get out. So that's number one. So for me, I think discipline is by far one of the most important attributes that a trader must have. I think, should I go to the second point, or you want?
No, so it's my turn.
Okay.
So it's actually funny how you mentioned emotional resilience or emotional stability in the markets.
Yes.
I think it's quite important because that is my number one characteristics that I would identify in a good trader. So in order to be a good trader, you need to have strong emotional resilience or stability in able to thrive within the market, or even to sustain yourself in the markets, because the markets are pretty brutal. There's a lot of ups and downs, so you need that emotional stability to be the constant when trading markets, especially when markets are quite volatile. So a good trader has the ability to disconnect themselves from the markets emotionally. So their ego is literally like stripping away from the markets. Their fear of the markets is also stripping away from the markets, because a lot of people will get into trading or investing, and then once they make one bad trade or two bad trades in the early stages of their trading experience, people with no strong emotional resilience, they'll quickly step away from markets. It's like they've almost touched fire almost. So I think emotional stability is quite important, because them losses, initial losses, a good trader will look at it as great learning opportunities, and they'll embrace them losses other than fear from the markets. So that's definitely that's mine.
I definitely agree. Because I'm sure in your time as a trader, you have these moments where you have the sweaty hands. So in that moment, you need to exercise a greater control of emotional control, really. For you to know that, okay, look, I'm in a sticky situation here. I need to drop my emotions. I need to start thinking, analytically and logically. And how do I act? And that brings me to my second attribute, and that's a trader has to be analytical. Okay. As a trader, you have to be extremely analytical, and you've got to understand that, you're basically dealing with patterns and probabilities and numbers, and so that's your bread and butter. And so whatever conclusion those patterns and numbers and probabilities give you, you need to be able to act on that. All right. So before you put on a trade, you've got to actually know exactly why you put in a trade, and the tools that will help you do that is analytical tools, right? So let's say you're trading oil, for example, and then you know that, okay, look, at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever the time it is, there's going to be an announcement about the rig count, for example. So for you obviously in that moment you don't know what the rig count's going to be, but what you need to know is, okay, cool, how do I react? How do I place a trade to take advantage of that? And the only thing that will give you like a reliable thing that something reliable, like a reliable point of decision making is the analytics. All right, you need to know, okay, cool, what's the probability of this and that, and so how do I position myself as a trader? And I think so. Definitely, analytical is another one, number 2.
I think that's also one of my top ones. So that is my number 2 as well.
Okay, great, fantastic. I guess there you have it, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of trading, to be honest with you. In the recent years, you would see that people with good analytical abilities would have profited a lot in the markets. So, for example, someone that's really analytical will look at information and then they'll look at the second derivative to that information and potentially even the third derivative to that information. So, for example, let's say that I know that the Democratic president is most likely going to win an election. It's hard for people to understand how that might contribute to trading, but this is how someone that's really analytical might break it down to. So I know that Democrats focus on popular agendas that the public cares about, so one of them might be possibly something to do with the environment. For example, as we've seen in the last election, US election. So someone that's analytical will look at that and then they'll start to look at data to support what companies to buy into. So for example, someone that's analytical will start thinking, okay, maybe Tesla will benefit from this if a Democratic president gets elected. And then they'll go deep into it in a sense that they'll start thinking about, okay, what materials does Tesla use in able to manufacture these cars? And then because Tesla's use batteries, they will even break it out further to the fact that they'll be like, okay, what raw materials will you need enable to build these batteries? So if someone analytical sees Tesla as a risky buy, they might look into other lithium producing mines and mining companies, and then they'll make their trades based on that. So from something as big as the US election and what president is going to be choosing next, someone that's quite analytical might make a strategy based on that, and they will be able to make profitable trades from that. So yeah, analytical, someone that's really analytical. So how do I conclude that?
Someone that's analytical do well in the market.
So someone that possesses
someone who's very analytical.
So someone that has a So that's why I think someone with a great analytical skills will be able to be a So that's why I think someone with great analytical skills will be able to be a good trader as well.
That's it.
So yeah, what would you say is your third and final characteristics, my good sir?
I think the third one is probably to do with knowledge. I think as a trader, you need to have your toolkit. Alright, you need to know that, as a trader, what will determine how successful you're going to be is how well you use your tools.
Yes, yes.
And you got to understand what those tools are. Yeah. So a lot of traders, think that they're putting on a fundamental trade, but as a trader, fundamentals won't really do much for you. I think as a trader, you got to understand that your biggest, your two main tools as a trader is technical skills and sentiment. I mean, being able to understand the market sentiment. All right. So I think all that they can be captured in the technical analysis. So as a trader, first and foremost, you have to have a good knowledge of your technical tools, your technical and analytical tools. So that's I think in that umbrella of knowledge, you also have leverage as well. Okay, I think a lot of traders. Look, I don't know about how good you are of a trader, but I think there are people who don't fully understand leverage.
Yeah.
And I think if you understand leverage really well, I think that's number one. Really, before you can start trading, you need to know exactly how leverage works. Whatever market you're about to trade, what's the leverage on that? Like you gotta understand things like marginal call. Like you need to know exactly all that stuff. So that's knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So you have to really master all those things you need to know as a trader, like like margin requirements, marginal call. Like what are they? What's the margin call, right? You gotta know all that, right? And then another one that I think within that same knowledge umbrella still is like your tools. I touched on it before. So your technical tools, there's so many of them, right? There's tons of technical tools, but you need to know ones that work for you. So you need to develop your own style. I think I should call this a style, really.
Yeah.
Because as a trader, seriously, you have to have your own style.
You do, but knowledge helps build your style.
Absolutely.
And knowledge is really the fundamentals. You need to immerse yourself in the learning more about trading. So I remember when I first started, you advised me to read a lot of trading books. So I think that's really important for a trader to do, to really get that knowledge of what trading is and really get the fundamentals from it.
Absolutely, because once you have that knowledge, then you'll be able to develop your own skill set, your own style as a trader. Because some trader may use, let's say, like the trend line, like religiously, whereas for you might find the RSI was better for you, or even like the CCC, like whatever, like you just gotta find your style. Like you really have to find your style. Like, using it by experimenting with the different tools in different markets, and you can only find that by knowledge. You gotta know what those tools are, and what they mean, and how you interpret that yourself as a trader. And then ultimately, once you really have that knowledge kit, then you can really develop your own skill set, so your own style. And then as you have your own style, that's when you can start to really become a really good trader. Combine that with the other attributes that we talked about earlier. I think that's really how you become a really good trader.
Yeah, that's such a really good point, actually. Yeah, I like your list, man.
Thanks, man. Also, another one as well, guys. This is side note, right? As a trader,
I know.
As a trader, if you've had a really really good year, like take the profits off, and then go and invest a bit of that profit. I'm serious, because trading, in nature, it's short-term in nature, right? Whereas investing, whatever gains you've made, let's say you've had a really good year, take half, even 75% of those gains, put them in a boring stock index, right? And then continue trading with the other 25%. Now, if you've had a really bad year as a trader, you need to be flexible enough to go pick up them shifts, so you can then come back and have a good year next year. So that's what trading is all about.
Create more liquidity, for sure. But I think that just comes with discipline.
Absolutely.
I think that was your first point. You need to know your entry point, and you need to know your closing point with every trade, and that really comes with discipline. So you will not get carried away in the greens and reds of the markets.
And sometimes as a trader, some of the best trade you ever put is one they never put.
You never.
so you need to know the market as well. Is this a good time for me to trade?
Like sometimes discipline,
and it's not always the right time to trade. Like sometimes it's just better off to just watch the market from a distance. You can't be trigger happy all the time. But I think some of the best trades I've made are the ones that I just made when I wasn't planning to make a trade. I saw the market, the way they're moving. I said, look, that's a really good market to enter, and then I took advantage. Whereas if you're in the markets all the time, you won't actually see some of those opportunities. So it doesn't hurt to take a step back from trading every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. That's how you become a mature trader as well.
That's it. Because the market don't always give you. Actually, I'll give you one. So as a trader, you need to understand that you gotta take what the market gives you. So that's another one, guys.
We're getting carried away. I said we should have made 5.
We should have made 5.
Top
but it's important for a trader to understand that, like, the markets don't always give you good stuff, right? So sometimes you got to take what the market gives you. And when the market isn't the market to trade, don't trade, because that's when you increase your leverage. And then when things go against you, that's when it really hurts. Right? Whereas if it's a good market to trade, you can really calculate your risk and know that, look, worst case scenario, I'll lose this much, that's fine. And then on the good side, on the upside of it though, there's a lot to be gained. I think that those are good trades to put on.
For sure.
And those only happen when the market is like a good market to trade. So you gotta know when it's good and
when it's bad.
Exactly.
My last final characteristic or attribute that I think a good trader has is fast thinking or decisive. Decisiveness in the market basically means the ability to take information and have the ability to quickly make decisions based on that information you'll be given. Because time in the market or time away from the market could be a loss of opportunity, and you'll be buying the wrong dip. Potentially,
I think there's an old Wall Street saying.
Yeah.
Something about never try to catch a falling knife.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, that's why I think it's good to be decisive in the market. You know, being decisive doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be able to make trades quickly. It just means that you know when to make a trade, and I think that's really important. And fast thinking comes from knowing when your trade hasn't really gone your way. So you need to be fast thinking and able to react to that, and you know, make a decision based on that as well. If something,
Cut your losses, guys.
yeah, count your losses is very important in the market.
Don't let them drag.
Yes,
It's catastrophic.
catastrophic if you don't cut it.
You don't cut it. Cut your losses.
So yeah, that's what I think are my three main characteristics that I think every good trader possesses. They need to be decisive, they need to be analytical, and they need to be emotional stable and able to thrive within the market and navigate markets safely.
And make money, that's important.
And making money, nigga.
You gotta make money, man.
You gotta make money. With all these tools, you'll definitely be able to. Anyways, guys, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please comment down below. I would like to thank my guest, Dan the Money Man, for joining me.
Thank you.
It was really a pleasure, bro.
Thanks, man.
You know what I mean? Flew out all the way from Canberra. Just to be with me. You could be anywhere in the world, but decide to be here with me.
That's it. We're here with Melo train.
And that's good for my ego.
That's right.
I'll link your socials. They should be on the screen right now. I'll put them on the screen right now.
Yeah.
And I'll also put them in the description below. So go and check out Dan's channel. It's quite informative. And it produces great content as well, just like me. You will not be disappointed. He has great content, and I'll definitely recommend if you're new to trading and want to learn more. He definitely gives a more deep, meaningful insights into these concepts. So yeah. What would you say your channel is really about?
I think my channel is all about generational wealth. I think people who are working hard and they want to learn about how to invest, that's what my channel is really about. You know, I really focus on trying to break down some of the complex like concepts in finance and make them simple for regular people to understand. The industry is full of technical terms and jargons, and makes it quite hard for regular people to understand. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of smart people out there who will obviously specialize in different fields, and it makes it quite hard for them to understand what finance is all about. So my channel is all about breaking it down, making it easy for people to understand how they can invest successfully and build generational wealth for the family and the kids to come, and the grandkids, and the grandkids' kids. You get the gist.
And then they'll thank you for suggesting you to Dan.
That's what it's about, guys. Dan the Money Man. Go check me on YouTube. Go check me on Instagram. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, I'll put it down. The information should be on the screen right now, or if not, I'll put it down in the description below. So yeah, guys, go and check out his videos. You will not be disappointed. You'll definitely enjoy the content. And I think that's it for today.
That's it, guys.
Yeah, that's it. Yo, stay financially safe and don't do what I wouldn't do.
Peace and love. Go make the money. Yeah, cool, man. You like that?
Yeah.
That was easy. So you can shoot this every week.